So, this is my first ever YouTube video. So, go ahead and bear with me with this. It's probably going to be a process. But anyway, my name is John McCall Pitts, and I typically go by Pittspreneur on social media and all other type of platforms. So, today we're going to talk about, if you looked at the title, retirement. And now retirement can be a little scary, a little bit crazy, but it's really just about realizing you don't want to work forever. Simple. You don't want to wait till you're 60 years old. You don't want to wait until you're 70 years old to stop working. You want to be able to enjoy your youth, probably 30. I consider 30 youthful, my bad. I'm not 30, but I consider it youthful. So yeah, you want to be able to start working about 30, 35ish, so you can actually have that energy to travel the world, be on cruises, get on planes, be able to really see different type of things. So yeah, let me go ahead and pull up my notes and we'll start talking about retirement. So the first thing, what is retirement? Basically, retirement is the point in life where you do not want to work. It might be 30, it might be 40, 50, 60, whatever. It's period. You do not work anymore, or you're not working in that period. So in order to really have this time, this retirement, you need to be able to save prior to retirement so you can make sure that one day you're able to actually retire. And again, there are no rules where you can retire, but many people base their age of retirement near 60ish just because of things like Roth IRAs and retirement accounts and stuff. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But the biggest thing about retirement accounts is that they're divided into two main categories. Either they're going to be traditional or they're going to be Roth. And again, just digging a little bit into it, but we're going to talk about that a little bit. So saving versus investing. So let's look at a basic example. Let's say that you want to retire at the age of 60 and you feel that you may live to 100 years old. So that's about 40, give or take 40 years. It's exactly 40 years if you're doing the math, but let's just say give or take 40 years. So let's say you want to save your way to retirement. That means that you would need to save 480 months of living expenses. If you had a modest cost of living at about $2,000 a month, that's about $24,000 a year, $120,000 every 5 years, or $960,000 over the course of that full 40 years that we just talked about. And you would need that saved. And think about it. That would be very hard to just save dang near $1 million. Like I ain't built like that. Who's about to do that? Especially on like a regular salary. Like no. But let's say they invested that $1,000 per month, and they started off with $2,000 at first. So they opened an account, they put $2,000 in it their first time, and then every month after that they put in $1,000. At the end of that, they would have 2.3 million. Well, exactly $2,347,179.39 exactly. And again, 8.5% isn't anything. If it was just 10.5%, they would have about 3.7 mil. And think about it, 8%, 10%. If you're watching this, you probably know what Bitcoin is. You probably know what Ethereum is. Right now, it's down, but 10% isn't anything. You could really hit that on an options trade, maybe even on a weekly, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about retirement right now. So now that we kind of talked about accounts and where to put it, what are these accounts? What are you talking about? What was traditional and what was Roth? And I'm about to break that down to you right now. So with retirement accounts, again, the main division comes in how they're taxed. So on one side we have traditional. Traditional type of account is advantageous to a person who makes a lot of money now, so they don't want to be taxed right now because they make a lot of money. So they put their money in there pre-tax before they get it from their paycheck. So in the future, one day they will decide, hey, I would like to now take it out, and when they do, they get taxed. This is okay because traditional retirement accounts allow you to contribute pre-tax money, which is cool. They lower a person's taxable income, which is also good if you want to kind of lower your tax bracket so you can avoid a certain amount of tax. And then taxation occurs when you make withdrawals from the account, which can be advantageous depending on where you are. So yeah, moving on to Roth accounts. This type of account is advantageous to a person. I've been saying the word right for the longest. That this type of account is advantageous to a person who, doesn't want to pay taxes in the future, really at all. So I prefer this account, which I'm not a financial advisor. I didn't say this disclaimer. I'm probably going to put it in the front now that I'm thinking about it. But I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a random talking head on YouTube. don't listen to me, but listen to me because I'm telling you some good stuff. But I'm not a financial advisor for real. But second, the Roth account is advantageous. I messed it up again. To a person who would rather pay taxes upfront when they get their paycheck, opposed to waiting years. So there's a couple of things about this. You contribute after tax money, so you get your paycheck and then you put that in there. That's the one thing. Two, they may allow you to take contributions out you can take your contributions out of there. So if I put $5,000 in a Roth IRA and it grows to $7,000, I can take that $5,000 out at any point in time, but I can't put it back in because there's a certain limit that you can put in those type of accounts, or specifically in Roth IRAs. I'm gonna get a little bit deeper into 401ks versus IRAs, but first I wanted to talk to you about the division of the type of accounts. Then we'll go to specific accounts. So again, the Roth IRA, it allows you to contribute after tax money. You can withdraw your contributions. Sometimes you're able to withdraw more than your contribution depending on special conditions such as COVID and any other type of health crisis, maybe buying your house. Consult your financial person. And then funds are able to grow tax free, which is the biggest thing about it. So say if we were talking about that example earlier with the 3.7 mil or the 2.3 mil, depending on how many percentage points you got. Imagine if you had to pay half of that in taxes because you didn't choose to do a Roth versus a traditional whatever account. So again, I wanted to tell you the top two trees of this is traditional and Roth. Once we talk about traditional and Roth, then we can get into specific types of accounts, which is my next point. I'm literally just going to talk about 401ks and IRAs. So 401ks can only be given to you and you can only qualify for it if you have an employer. That employer will typically give you that 401k or allow you to contribute to that 401k after 6 months to a year of employment with them. So after that time period, usually the biggest advantage of this 401k is when you put money in there, they are going to match the amount of money you put in there dollar for dollar to a certain limit. So that's very advantageous because that's free money. I mean, it's literally free. So again, kind of looking at this can be you need an employer, so that's one downside. You need an employer, then you have to have been there for 3 to 6 months in good standing, all that type of stuff. Again, they contribute, which is free money. These can be Roth or traditional, like we were saying earlier. The investments are limited. So looking at the other type of retirement account, now we are looking at IRAs or individual retirement accounts. And like like the name implies, you are opening this by yourself. So there isn't anybody contributing to it, which is sad, but it's all you. You have a little bit lower limit as well. Go and do your research on that again, but you're able to really do what you want. You can invest in options. You can self-direct it if you know what you're doing. Consult your financial advisor. And then on top of that, you can just invest in any stock. Like you can really just get Apple or Tesla or whatever. And you're able to just open this anywhere. You can go on somewhere like E-Trade. I don't want to say any other ones. I like E-Trade. That's what I use. So I'm going to say that. I have opened mine on E-Trade. It took, no amount of time. And then I know my limit. They tell you your limit as well. I think it's 55 or 6,500 this year. Hint, hint. So something changes every year, but not talking too much about that. But that's the other type of retirement account, that Roth IRA. And again, one thing that I will say about this, or a couple of things that I will say about this, you can have both of these, and I have both of these. So this is my plan. This isn't advice. This is just my plan. I will match up to, or I will put in my 401k the same amount of money or up to the highest amount that my company will match. That way I am getting the biggest dollar for dollar amount. After that, I don't put anything else into the 401k because I could invest it, but I would rather invest it somewhere where I control it, like an individual retirement account or an IRA. So after that is done, after I'm finished contributing that amount a month and I get that match, then I go over and put that excess into my Roth IRA. And the reason I have a Roth IRA, again, I hopefully will be in a higher tax bracket. I don't really think I'll stop working or earning any type of income during my lifetime. So I would rather go ahead and pay the taxes up front after I get paid, and then take after tax dollars and then put that inside of my individual retirement account. And again, those have a limit. I think it's 55 or 6,500 a year. I'm not sure. I pretty much have it on autopilot where I just know how much is coming out of my paycheck. It goes where it needs to go automatically. And I'll make a video about that, about automating this and all that type of stuff later. If you're going for an IRA, make sure that you're going with a trusted place like an E-Trade, like a Charles Schwab, even your own bank. You want to make sure that the account for your retirement that you will need in the next 40 or 50 years is somewhere with a certified institution that is not going anywhere, that has been here for years, so that when the time comes, I'm near the airport. I'm not in the hood, but I'm near the airport. They kind of go through, so that's the loud thing. But anyway, make sure that it's with somebody that you know. Like, again, I like E-Trade, so I went with E-Trade because E-Trade just got bought by, I think, Charles Schwab or Morgan Stanley or something like that. But just those big name people, that's what I feel. You can put it with your local bank if you want to. Just make sure it is in a place that is safe, it is insured, FDIC, whatever. But yeah, in conclusion, retirement may sound hard, but the earlier you start, it's really easier because of compound interest. Yeah, I hope this video helped. Also, like, comment, and subscribe.